Hi guys, I'm going to go over here the 2015 tab statement, okay? So it's on the screen at the moment and I'm going to go through that start to finish. Okay, so, give me 2 seconds. So you can see the question on the screen. You have your normal balance sheet here. So for your opening month, you're going to have goodwill as an asset, so it's going to be that figure, the 45,000. You're going to have land and buildings asset, equipment asset, delivery vans asset. Remember, the depreciation is going to be a negative number. You're going to have stock as an asset, insurance prepaid, and debtors. These are all your assets. Creditors liability, bank overdraft liability, expenses due. Your issued share capital, 48,000, your share premium, and your profit and loss balance. So if we go to the solution, that's what it should look like. Now, as you can see, I've added up my assets. Remember, the depreciation is a minus. You get 888,900, and I've left a space below the total just in case I need to add anything in. And also with my liabilities, I've added those up. Creditors, bank overdraft, expenses due, order share, share premium, P&L, and I get 888,900. These should always balance, okay? So I'm going to go through each month in order. So first of all, January. So make this slightly bigger. January, Watt bought an adjoining business which included 240,000 buildings, so that would be an asset. Delivery vans, 42,000, that would be an asset. Creditors would be a liability. The purchase price was granting the seller 220,000 shares at €1 each. That would be a liability. And a share premium of 20 cents per share, so basically 20%. Again, that would be a liability. So if we look at the workings for that, very straightforward. We add up the assets and we get 282,000. We add up the liabilities and we get 318,000. The difference is this figure here, which is called goodwill. Okay, the difference between you've paid more. The business, you were getting 282, you paid 318 basically. So the extra is called goodwill. So if we go back to the answer, the solution, and we'll fill these in. So our buildings, so first of all, our goodwill, 36,000. Land and buildings, 240,000. Delivery vans, 42,000. That's it for the assets. So if you add those up, you get 318,000. And then in the liabilities, we had creditors of 54,000. We had ordinary shares, 220,000. And we had a share premium, which was 20% of that, 44,000. Again, add those up and you get 318,000. February, a creditor was owed 2,500, accepted a fridge freezer, the book value of which was 2,200. The fridge freezer cost 4,800. So a couple of things here. We have paid off a debt by giving a freezer worth 2,200. So straight away you should be able to see we've actually made a profit there because we owed 2,500 and we gave 2,200. So if I go to my notes, that's the way I do it. So the fridge cost 4,000 and the net book value was 2,200. So working backwards, I can work out the depreciation was 1,800 because when I dispose of something, I also need to dispose of the depreciation. We owed the creditor 2,500. We gave them a fridge worth 2,200, so we made a profit of 300. So back to the solution. What happens here? So first of all, we go to the fridge would be an example of equipment. So that's going to go down 4,000. And we're going to write off the depreciation on it, which is plus 1,800. That's all that happens in the assets column. In the liabilities column, well, our creditor will go down because we've paid off that debt, and that will go down 2,500. And from our workings, we know we made a €300 profit. So minus 2,200, both the same. April. Watt Limited decided to revalue the land and buildings at 990,000. The land element is 170,000. Okay, that will become relevant later on for depreciation. So first of all, revaluing at 990. So if I go to my notes, okay, the balance of land and buildings is 930. That comes from, if you look at our solution, 690 plus 240 because we bought extra in January. So it's 930. And the depreciation is 55,100. Okay, so we have opening balance of land and buildings 930 and opening balance on depreciation 55,100. So the land and buildings has to increase by 60 to get to 990. So we debit land and buildings, we credit the revaluation account. The depreciation must be written off, so we debit 55,100, we credit 55,100, and we get a total revaluation figure of 115,100. So go back to my solution. Land and buildings has increased by 60,000. Okay, the depreciation has been written off, so again increased by 55,100. Gives me a net figure of 115,100, and that is the exact figure of our new revaluation reserve, which is 115,100, and again adds up to the same. Okay, 2 seconds. Okay, 115,100. Okay, that's April. May. So in May, received a bank statement at the end of May showing a direct debit of 3,600 to cover fire insurance, so we've paid that, and a credit transfer received of 8,600 to cover rent receivable in advance, rent receivable prepaid. So that's going to go, okay. So we have in our solution, we have an insurance prepaid figure up here. So the insurance amount is going to go up here. So it's going to be May 3,600. And then in our bank, we're going to add in a new one for rent received. Rent received. And that is going to be 8,600. So what's happened? We've received in 8,600. We've paid out 3,600. So our bank overdraft is going to decrease by 5,000. So that will give us 3,600 up here and 3,600 up here. Now, we're going to deal with that second bit. You'll notice I have 2 December columns. So I'm going to deal with that in the second December column, the prepaid bit, and I'm going to deal with that in December. Okay, so you just put in what you got in May, or what you paid out and what you got. July. A delivery van costing 15,000 and had a net book value of 3,000. So straight away, I know depreciation 12,000 on that van was traded in against a new van costing 24 and an allowance of 4,500. So how much did we actually pay? We paid 19,500, the difference between those two. Okay, and this was on the 1st of July. So we're talking 6 months there when we work out depreciation. So when I go to my solutions, my workings, I go to July. So I have an opening balance on delivery vans of 128,000 because we opened with 86,000. I'll just show you here. it's the 86,000 here plus the 42,000. Okay, and then the delivery van's depreciation is 32,000. Okay, so that's our opening balances. So just go through this now. So the note says a delivery van which cost 15,000 was traded in. So we disposed of a van which cost 15,000. So we credit delivery vans 15,000. We debit disposal 15,000. We worked out the depreciation was 12,000. So again, disposal depreciation must be written off as well of 12,000. So we debit it there, we credit it here, 12,000. Okay, what else do we know? There was an allowance given, a trade-in allowance of 4,500. So allowance 4,500 debited there, allowance credited here 4,500. What else do we know? We bought a new van for 24,000, but we got an allowance of 4.5. So in the bank, you would pay out 19,500. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the disposal here. The van cost 15, depreciated by 12, so mental arithmetic would tell us it was worth 3, but we were given allowance of 4.5. Therefore, we have a profit of 1,500 made on that disposal. Delivery vans, I'm going to balance this delivery van now. Account. Okay, so if I add up the delivery vans, I get 152,000, which gives me a balance of 152,000 minus 15,000, gives me a balance of 137,000. So if you remember the 120 mark questions that we've done, the depreciation note, what I've done below, I've actually jumped forward to December. So the depreciation charge on delivery vans is 20%. So we are dealing with, these vans were disposed of, the van was disposed of in July. So we have 6 months depreciation. So we are dealing with, we have 6 months depreciation at 128,000. And then we disposed, we bought another one. For the remaining 6 months, depreciation was 100, the value of delivery vans was 137,000. So what I've done here is 128 at 20% is 12,800. 137 at 20% for 6 months is 13,700. So what I've got here is my depreciation figure for December. Okay, when I get to December, I've already worked that out. Why have I done that? Why I've done that is because I can just finish off the depreciation account. So the P&L figure for depreciation would be 26,500, which would give me a balance. I balance this account, I would have a balance in depreciation of that minus of 58,500 minus 12,000, 46,500. You will see that figure in when we look at the answer. That will be your total figure in the depreciation. Okay, but that's me kind of worked ahead there, and I've gone to December. Okay, so just bear that in mind when we get to December. So in the solution, when I go to July, what's happened in July? My delivery vans, if I look at it again, it's gone from 128 to 137. So that's a net gain of 9,000. So my delivery vans has gone up 9,000. The depreciation that needs written off, again, if I go back here, is the 12,000. So it's going to be plus 12,000. Okay? And that's all for that happens in the assets column. Then I go to my liabilities. What's happened? So We made a profit and loss, so I'll go to that first, of 1,500. And my bank overdraft, remember, how much did I actually pay for the new van? 19,500. If I look back here, 19,500. So my bank overdraft is going to increase by 19,500. So if I add that up, it should match, yeah, 21,000. Okay, next one is November. A payment of 1260 was received from T. McDonough, a debtor, whose debt had been previously written off and who now wishes to trade with Watt again. This represents 90% of the original debt, and the debtor has undertaken to pay the remainder of the debt in January. Okay, so we're going to get all that money back. On the same day, we sold goods for €720. This is a markup of 20%. Okay, so there's profit built in there as well. So if I go to my notes for November, basically what I have is a payment of 1,260 was received, and that equaled 90%. So I'm going to work out the whole debt by doing 1260 divided by 90 multiplied by 100 gives me 1,400. That was the whole debt, and we're going to get that whole debt back, so that is profit, 1,400. Okay, our bank, we received into the bank 1260, so our bank overdraft will reduce by 1260, and this 140 is going to be our debtor's figure. I go to the second part of the note, and it says about we sold goods on credit. So we have €720 was equal to 120% because it was a markup of 20%. So to find out how much the stock cost, divide 720 by 120 and multiply by 100 to get 600. And that gives me a profit of 120. So if I go to my solution, I'm going to have bank 1260 received, so my overdraft is going to go down by 1260. So my bank overdraft down by 1260. I'm going to have debtors of 140 here, but also 720 here, so that is 860 debtors. 860 debtors. I'm going to have profit of 1,400 here and 120 here, so that's a profit of 1,520 to my profit. So my P&L, 1,520. And the last thing is my stock. So my stock is going to go down by 600. Stock down by 600. So minus 600. So when I total these, I get 260 and 260. Okay, now we go to December and we go to, first of all, depreciation. So we have depreciation charge on buildings for the year is to be 2% of value at 1st of the 4th, 2014. So there's a bit of confusion here compared to the 2013 one. It's all in the wording of the question. Okay, and so I'm going to change this because even myself, what it should be, because the question says as at. It says 2% of value at building for the year is to be 2% of the value of the buildings on the 1st of April. So the value of the buildings is, we have land and buildings 990. You must take out the land. So it's 990, take away the land is 820. And that's at 2%, which gives me a figure of 16,400 is my land and buildings. Okay, so that was controversial, just the wording compared to the previous question. My delivery vehicles I have done here. So remember, I did it in my main note. I had 120,000 at 20% for 6 months, and I had 137,000 at 20% for 6 months, 26,500. So if I go back to my solution, my depreciations, so land and buildings minus 16,400. None for equipment, there's no mention. Delivery vans, minus 26,500. Gives us minus 42,900. And that goes into our profit and loss as minus 42,900 because depreciation is an expense. Okay, the second part of December goes back to our May note to do with the fire insurance and the rent receivable. So first of all, the fire insurance. The 3,600 that we received was to cover fire insurance for a year from the 31st of the 3rd. So what that means is, if I look back at the solution, we have insurance prepaid of 1,000. So that 1,000 was for January, February and March. Okay, so that was for the first 3 months. I need to work out now 9 months. And I do that by 3,600 divided by 12 multiplied by 9, which gives me 2,700. I add on the prepaid figure, which gives me 3,700. So in December, 3,700. What that means is, if I just work along here, 1,000, sorry, that should be minus 3,700, which is the amount for the year. A mess of this here. Minus 3,700. So if I just work along with this one for a second, I think it might just be a bit clearer. If I add up along the way, you get €900, which has been paid into next year, which works because if we think about it, 2,700 was for this year. What's left? €900. So €900 is for next year. Secondly, the rent receivable. So the rent receivable is 8,600, but it was for 10 months and it was received on May the 1st. So we have 8 months this year. So 8,600 divided by 10 multiplied by 8 means the amount of rent receivable for this year, relevant to this year, is 6,880. So if I go to my rent receivable, it's going to be minus 6,880. Okay. So again, if I add up this way, I get 1,720 was prepaid into following. Now, these don't balance, so the difference is going to be what we received and what we paid out. So we received for the 10 months, for the 8 months, 6,880. We paid out for the year, so this was only 8 months, this was a full year, 3,700, but the difference is 3,180. So the difference is in our P&L, 3,180. So that will give me minus 3,700 in both spots. Okay, so final answer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all of the rows. I'm going to do the same, and I get 129,8060. That's my final answer. Okay, I'm going to do the same in the bottom. Now I can do it very quickly on the computer. And I get the same answer, 129,8060. Okay, so there is your answer and there is your notes.